IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good afternoon and welcome back. We are now into the 303rd episode. That's right? 10 o'clock was 300. 301 was Gordon from tryh2.com. Thank you, Gordon. 302 was Henry Noel from Transitional Radio. Thank you, Henry. And so we are into episode 303. Wait a minute. Let's look at my math office already. If 300 was 10, 301 was 11, 302 was at 12. Yeah, this is the 303rd episode of All Natural Being. Thank you so very much for joining us. We're in the middle, as you can tell from the clock. We're under 21 hours now. We're under 21 hours now. I have a little seat. I've got some things that I'm prepared to go for the long haul. So thank you so very much. We've got some really cool guests coming up this afternoon because remember, to get this up, I like props, as you know, right? I like this. Customer satisfaction is our number one goal. So I'm hoping that you agree with me that what we've been able to do so far today is highlight some experts. I call them gurus to go, or my on-the-go gurus, that can tell us some of the things that we can benefit from to help nurture our all-natural being, to help prolong our all-natural being. That's what we're talking about. And so I've wanted to have some people come on, and our guest this hour is most certainly the same way. Kurt Ruttman will be on here before too long to tell us some other things that I think are just really important for our listeners to be able to hear. So thank you so very much for joining us, and thank you to all the guests that have come on heretofore so far to make that happen. We have a full afternoon set up of some really cool people that will be hanging out. They're kind of like my pacers, if you will, right? They're kind of like those ones that are going to come on and just help me through what it is we're doing in terms of this 24-hour marathon. So I'm very honored and very flattered to have so many cool people here with me, helping me get through. And we realized, maybe Sunday afternoon of a holiday weekend, Dana, thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. I'd love to hear what you're studying. And thank you very much for the voiceover last night as well. It was absolutely great. I smiled the whole time I heard it. So thank you very much for that. Maybe Sunday afternoon of a holiday weekend wasn't the day to do it, or at least Sunday morning, because the internet, right? We did everything we could to protect the internet to here. And maybe that's, maybe we can talk about that in terms of All Natural Being. We did everything we could to protect the internet from here, but it's outside of these walls that it gets suspect. And everybody and their brother, I guess, playing online Yahtzee or checking their sports scores or whatever else. So it looks like the internet signal's got a little bit better later in the day. So thank you so very much for putting up with that, putting up with us about that. Also, don't forget, you can go to ipmnation.com/ANB now. If you want to hear the audio, that never gets interrupted, right? We're in the hour, 3 hours and 5 minutes over on ipmnation.com/ANB for all natural being /ANB now. That's never interrupted. So if the video signal drops a couple more times and it just gets aggravating, as I'm sure it is, it's aggravating for us here. If it gets aggravating, then please check out the audio over at ipmnation.com, because ultimately I'm not going for the world record of the longest Facebook post, the longest YouTube post, right? No, it's the longest call-in radio show that we're going for. So if you would, ipmnation.com/ANB now. You'll be able to hear it uninterrupted. Also, I want to thank Sales Copy Academy and my good friend Lee Rowley, not only for doing some of the voiceover work, but also sponsoring the time. He's got the clock. So we're at both ends of the studio. You know exactly where we are in terms of the time that we have left to go. I guess they're off by about 10 seconds now that I think about it, but you get the point. Thank you for everyone over at Sales Copy Academy that sponsored the time to keep us, just keep us honest in what we're doing. All right. Thank you to John. John, thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Nice to see you once again. And what we're talking about today are those things that we can do to protect our sense of all natural being. Those things that we can do, right, to be our own biggest fan, to be our own best friend, and most certainly our immune system. So we're focusing a good bit today on those things that I had to be able to do, right? We got to watch what we eat, what we think, what we drink, what we breathe. So what I wanted to do for our 24-hour ramp up, really, to be honest with you, to see if I could do it. There's a lot of people going, I don't know, you got a brain shunt, right? You're still injured. You may not be able to go a full 24 hours. Well, we're going to see here in a little bit, because if I can't go for 24 hours, right, what's the chance of going 81 for the world record? That seems a little silly. So today we'll know here before too long how well this whole attempt is going to work out. But then I just didn't want to have fun doing it, which I'm having a blast. I wanted to be able to make sure that we were giving back to the listeners by having some really great guests, some really cool people come on and say, okay, great. Here's some things that I think we can help teach. We can help learn together about those things that we can do to put our own immune system front and center of life. Not just our physiological immune system, but our philosophical immune system as well. What can we do in the onslaught of everything that it is? Even like the internet here. As I said, we got the internet dialed in here in the building, but it's all the outside trying to come in. What are we able to do? Good afternoon to Ian. Ian, thank you so very much. Afternoon, almost evening. Ian, thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. And we're talking, Gordon had mentioned it earlier, we're talking about some of the things that we can do, that we can do to bolster our defenses, right? The defenses of our brain, the defenses of our body. That's what I want the show to be about. So that when it comes to all natural being, it's just not a catchy little tagline, right? It's not just a catchy little phrase. But it's something that we can do, because I know in my heart that we can survive almost anything, that we can surmount almost any challenge, that we can be on top. Good afternoon to Patricia. Patricia, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hanging out with you this evening. Thank you for joining us in hour 3 of All Natural Being. And as I'm saying, we're doing what we can to think about how we can grow to protect ourselves, how we can go, our philosophical immune system, our physiological immune system, what it is that we can do to be able to suffer the slings and arrows, right? You and I can't control incoming. We can control the counterpunch. We can't control what it is that fate does in an attempt to chop block us. but we can control. We can be totally responsible for the counterpunch. All right, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BE-YOU. If there's anything that you would like to kick around, good afternoon to you too, Ian. If there's anything you'd like to kick around, please give us a call. It's toll-free, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BE-YOU. And as I said earlier, our entire goal throughout this 24, I got this the other day. Yeah, I'm just going to milk this placard, I guess. Customer satisfaction is our number one goal. I want it so that hopefully this time tomorrow morning, well, this time tomorrow afternoon, I'll be sound asleep. But you know what I mean? Hopefully this time tomorrow, people will go, oh, you know what? I learned a couple of cool things over there. I learned some things I didn't know about oxidative stress. I didn't, right? And even the oxidative stress of heavy thinking, of binge thinking, of some of the things that just of beating ourselves up, right? There's an oxidative stress to that. There's an oxidative stress from the things we inhale. There's an oxidative stress from the things we drink. There's an oxidative stress from the different things we touch. And our next guest this afternoon is going to help us in a really profound way. And it's something that I think that we'll all benefit from. I'm just checking here to make sure that we're on the same schedule as well. Sarah, good afternoon. Thank you for watching, joining us here at All Natural Being. We're into hour 3 of our 24-hour All Natural Being marathon. As I said that I would in the very beginning, 104.9 The River, 104.9. So it's 1049theriver.com. Thank you for saying no to me and not returning my emails or my phone calls. Kumbaya for everybody but Brian, apparently. Thank you so very much for that, because that's what compelled me. That's what sparked me into, deciding to try to do this thing. That and my good friend David Ray Bowman, who taught me quite a bit about, soundboards and radio and everything else. So I want to thank him. Sarah says he is swimming in the pool. Love you, rock on, bro. Thank you very much, Sarah. I super appreciate it. Please tell the boys that we said howdy. And ours are at the pool as well. Hopefully everyone's at the pool now, so they're not draining on our internet. All right, so 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BE-YOU. We're in the middle of the 24-hour All Natural Being marathon, which we're using as a ramp up to the record to see if we can pull off the 81 to win later this December. Guinness World Record, right? I'm all over giving it to the attempt. So I thank everyone that has supported that idea or that shot. So let me ask you, what is something that you've always wanted to do? Always wanted to do. And then you thought, well, I'm not smart enough, not bright enough, not talented enough, not healed enough, not well enough, not versed enough in those things, because clearly this is brand new to me. Well, 300 episodes brand new, but you get my point. I didn't understand how to do a lot of these things. So what could you do? Dana says I'm doing it, and I cannot wait to talk about it, Dana. That's going to be great. Dana says I'm doing it. What could you be doing? What is it that's holding you back from putting your heart's highest priority top of the list? All right, let's take a call. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling All Natural Being. Who's this?
This is Kurt Ruppman.
Kurt Ruppman, I apologize. A little bit ago, I had 5 minutes after the hour, so that the scheduling thing was totally my fault. But how are you, sir? It's nice to hear your voice.
I'm doing fine. That was actually my fault. My old age and stuff. I didn't put it at 1 in there just for an extra 10 minutes of rest.
Well, I'm going to need that, brother. I'm going to need that before too long, I can tell you. We're into hour 3. But, Kurt, I went ahead and put up the H2 Bev, hydrogen-enriched water and recovery drinks. But before I have you talk about it, it's just been – I cannot thank you enough, because what I want people to know is that you were just great when it came to figuring out what it was that was wrong with me. And you and your company, H2 Bev, doing whatever you could to help with the headaches, to help with some of the other things. So, I have a cooler behind me, and I have all your cool product in the cooler. So I really, before I get into it and want to learn about your expertise, I really wanted to thank you, because you didn't need, right? I'm just a guy on the phone. You didn't need to be as gracious as you were and as kind as you were. So I really want to thank you for everything that you did.
I always like to help out and see how it goes, and the input that you come back with is very valuable to us. I mean, it's a two-way street.
Well, still, you were very gracious, and I super appreciate it. So, Kurt,
I will bill you for it. Don't you worry about it.
yeah, please do. Please do. So let's talk about your background, your expertise, and the handful of times that you and I have had a chance to catch up. You just really care about people's health and well-being. Can you give me an idea of how you got started down this path, like the beginnings of H2 Bev?
Well, the beginning of H2 Bevs, we were in the natural teas and juices that we were supplying to retail outlets and also to the school venue for their breakfast, lunch, and after-school snacks. So we've always had, even back in the days, back in very early in my career, when we did recycling of plastics, we didn't get into chemicals. We basically used industrial gases to affect the plastic, to freeze it per se, to knock off the glue and labels and product residue and what have you, staying away from anything that could be harmful or absorbed by the plastic.
Okay.
So we've always had that charter to look to the healthy side. I have 12 grandkids, so I've always looked to, what is going to do my grandkids good. My 4 kids are grown, and, we shoot them out the door, and what the heck, it's too late for them. I got to worry about my grandkids. And basically in 2014, I was asked by a company to look at a hydrogen-enriched structured water product in a plastic bottle.
Okay.
And because I had many years of experience with industrial gases, working with liquid nitrogen and converting it into very high-pressure gases for our plastic processing, in which I was awarded patents in those areas, it just made me chuckle that you got nothing. And I sent off the bottles at my expense to a group called Molecular Hydrogen Foundation, where over the phone I was introduced to Tyler LeBaron, the director and founder of that organization, who specializes in molecular hydrogen. And he was able to test the product, and it came up to 0. And I have an affliction. When you say it can't be done, I go to work on that. And Tyler said a few things I couldn't do, and we started working on it. What really, has always been an area of making healthy products, brewing tea without preservatives in it, without artificial products in it, ingredients in it, and trying to give everybody really something that's not only going to taste good and be pleasant and desire to drink it, but also does good for the person's system. Just not out there and throwing sugar water around and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so we've always been dedicated to that, even technologies to extend the shelf life of milk and get out a quality product. Even when we did our teas, we spent 2 years in the labs and sending it out to National Food Laboratories, checking once a week the properties before we ever introduced it commercially. So when I started on this road of the molecular hydrogen route, again, we took that same attitude. Okay, let's see what we can get. And we experimented with different ways to get the hydrogen to stay into the product and infuse it. And, of course, our ignorance is our best ally. And, we're down here in Texas, so we don't know if we wear shoes or not, and don't know how to read or write, so we just kind of stumble our way around.
I'm from West Virginia, my friend, so I think we probably feel the same. Except we stumble around on mountains, so one leg is longer than the other most times for us. So I know exactly how you feel.
Gotcha. So as we worked on it further and further, we found that we could get a fairly high level of parts per million infused into the liquid and keep it stable. We then started to work on seeing where this product may fit, and it was kind of an experiment, more of a challenge. Late 20 or early 2015, I had a heart attack. After the heart attack, and they put a couple stents in my heart, I had a problem because I got a contaminant in there, and had a blockage of the main artery in my left leg. So while we're out walking, my left calf muscle would tighten up and be very painful. Well, finally, after a month of trying to walk through this problem, I went to my family doctor. He checked my leg, and I didn't have a pulse behind my knee or my ankle. Of course, I asked him, was that good or bad? And he informed me that I was an idiot. And I went and had a CT scan done and listened to what they wanted to do. And I said, that wasn't for me for an operation. And so basically I went home and I drank a bottle of that we had at that time of the hydrogen water with vitamins in it. Went out and walked 3 miles with no problem at all. Did that a couple nights in a row, then didn't drink it. And I said, the pain was right back and very intense. That changed my whole direction of everything I was doing from that point on. We sold off, got out of the tea and juice business, and went to work 100% on the benefits and infusing hydrogen into liquid products, beverages. We've progressed from the water with vitamins to a flavored water to a product that was made with beet powder, which was very eye-opening, and then months of working on where we were able to, because of the beet powder with the conjunction of the hydrogen and the vitamins and everything else we had in there, that it created a long-lasting nitric oxide level in one's body. We are not one of those who take just anecdotal stories and run with them. We must have analytic data. So we then started working with a Nox Vera machine to look at the fractional nitric oxide exhale level that was coming out. Some very, very unique results happened. And, of course, we had some young ones, a 12-year-old girl who had asthma attacks from stress when she was doing gymnastics. She was a level 6 gymnast. That product, and we had her drinking 1 can a day, and her starting point was 220 liters per minute lung capacity. After 5 months of just drinking 1 can a day, her capacity's got up to 365 liters per minute. They didn't even get that high when they give her, drugs to help with it. And so we kept looking at these areas. Then we got into thermal imaging, which was very unique. We also had people drinking the product that were in sports and high school football and what have you, and trying to gather data. We were not rushing to sell the product. Yes, it was on their website and internet, and that's how we were getting experiences. But we were not pushing, all the social media marketing things and trying to get in a lot of different places. We just wanted to really see what our product was doing and giving health benefits to ones, and just kept working on it, changing and tweaking the formulas as we were infusing this and learning more and more how to get levels up of the hydrogen. There's numerous, over 1,000 clinical studies that is available on the internet that shows the molecular hydrogen benefits for one's health. Sometimes I think it talks too many things, and I start thinking it's snake oil salesman stuff.
Sure.
But, you know, it is realistic. I became a believer because of what it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched what it's done. My family doctor, who was a naysayer, became a believer, and as a drinker, started giving it to his patients. Some of the largest hospitals here in Dallas, Texas, cardiovascular centers could not believe what it did for some of their patients and stuff. They were told to go home and get on hospice. Couldn't do anything for them. They started drinking 1 can a day, and 45 days later, the enlarged heart and ischemia was gone. I mean, it's been amazing things. And there's on our website, there's some points in there about MRSA, a lady up in Pennsylvania with MS, what it's done for her. It's been miraculous, and it gives me goosebumps to see those things happen. And I can tell you, we made one of the finest teas out there in the industry. And I can tell you, when we saved a person's foot from being amputated, that with that handshake, I've never felt somebody crush my hand like that before in my life. And it, you know, and it just is so enriching. I know you can't pay mortgage with those type of feelings and everything else, but I can sure sleep good at night. And you know, when our friend got a hold of me about your issues and stuff like that, and we spent a little time on the phone, you know, I thought maybe one of the products would help you, and then we went up from there. And now we've got another product that we're just letting out, doing some testing on, that has really opened up a world beater of a situation. I talked about the Beat hydrogen-infused product, changing your blood flow, and you could see that happening with thermal imaging in a 45-minute span. You could see the change in the color of your hand, temperature of your hand.
So, Kurt, can you help me? Can you help me with that? Because I've tried all of it, and I'm a huge fan of the Beat Power because of the nitric oxide, and the hydrogen enriched vitamin water. But I don't want people to think this is just, Brian thinks this tastes really great and he's getting his beets, right? His mom would be happy after all these years. He's getting at least liquid form of his vegetables. But so people say, there's thermal imaging. Can you talk a little bit about nitric oxide and why that thermal imaging, right? You and I just aren't talking about these things because they taste great. There really is some science behind them. And then can you explain what that science tells us about how the human body works?
Well, not being a doctor or anything else like that, all I do is read the same stuff that's out there. There's over 60,000 potential studies that you can read on the internet. Nitric oxide, there was 3 pharmacists that were awarded the Nobel Prize back in, I think it was 1998, for the importance of the signaling and stuff like that of nitric oxide and the delivery to address inflammation in your system and get more nutrition. And basically, you got a product that is helping increase your blood flow that's created in your body. It's going from the nitrates to nitrites, then converting into nitric oxide in your system if you have the right friendly bacteria in your mouth to convert it. 40% of the population doesn't even have that. The hydrogen overcame that and enhanced it, but it also increased the repetitiveness of the creation your body's doing of the nitric oxide levels. When you see the thermal imaging, and you can get attached to your iPhone, you can buy a $220, it's called FLIR, F-L-I-R, attachment to your phone, and you can literally take pictures or videos of your hand after you drink the product. You get a baseline, look at your hand, take a picture of it before consuming the product, and then you can actually see over a half an hour, 45-minute period, the changing of the color of your hand, because you'll see the palm of your hand's red and then your fingers are kind of a yellowish color out to blue, and you'll see the temperature rise in your hand by at least 4 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit because of the increased blood flow. And, of course, everybody knows the more blood flow you can get in your body, the more oxygen getting to your organs, and all the nutrition are going on. And, it's very important for, if you don't have blood flow, you're not going to be around anyhow.
Sure.
So as we looked at this nitric oxide situation, and, of course, everybody looks at beet as a unique tasting product. And we worked a long time to get it palatable, that we feel it's palatable for general consumption. We then found the watermelon with citrulline, because watermelon has citrulline. Citrulline converts to L-arginine gene in your system, and that converts to nitric oxide. And the thing that we're always striving for is to get relief from inflammation, but to get something quickly and that you can feel. It's like sports drinks or energy drinks. Everybody's looking for instant gratification. And, if it's just tasting like water and acts like water, everybody becomes disenchanted with that. The watermelon we found was really the next step in our crusade here on getting a product that can really work for everybody and have a very good taste. And it tastes almost like a Sprite with a slight tingling to it. But it reacts within 10 to 15 minutes in your system compared to the beet at a half an hour to 45 minutes. We've now taken that beet to another level where within 5 minutes, your blood flow in your body, and we've got a device, a prototype from a company out of Japan. Their name is Kyocera, and it actually can measure your blood flow. And it measures it on the tip of your finger. And within 10 minutes, you've got over a 90% increase in blood flow. And you can also do thermal imaging along with that and show, and as I sent you the charts the other day, that you can see that your change in your temperature of your hand and also the blood flow color and everything else changed and stuff like that in less than 10 minutes.
Unbelievable.
The results are long-lasting. If a person has a very bad hip that goes on those bike rides, 100-mile bike race down there in Texas and stuff like that, it lasts for 6, 7, 8 hours. And that's what we're after, is something that we can continue to prove. I think the whole view of the molecular hydrogen market and its benefits and what can be structured with it, we're not even scratching the surface. We're brushing by it because it's so far-reaching, and there'll be others to follow, hopefully, what we're doing and take it into where you maybe can use a drug that has certain side effects that you'll be able to use less of it but get more bioavailability into your body so you don't have the side effects. So it's very, very far-reaching, and we're talking with a company now that is dedicated to health and wellness. We hope to be able to team up here shortly. And they're dedicated to the science and studying the science.
Sure.
So there is, true double-blind clinical studies. So there's no question what's going on, and target different areas of people's affliction, be it cardiovascular, be it asthma, be it diabetes, and then the products, just for the general public, for picking up their mood, their attention. This product that we found, that this newest ingredient was that I was doing some very hard, fast research. Haven't said this too publicly, but a few weeks ago, my wife had been not feeling very well, some discomfort, and went in for a colonoscopy and came out with being diagnosed with cancer. So needless to say, I started working on areas of ingredients that could possibly team up with the hydrogen and have some good effects. I came across this one product that is actually it's made in Spain, that they've gone through the GRAS status work with the FDA here in the United States. The product is being used for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, but they also found that it can stimulate the brain's energy levels for your sports events and what have you, and build up more energy. They've got a lot of documentation and certification to that. So we, it's a slow reacting product. So we teamed it up in our hydrogen product with our watermelon, all the others. It's been it's absolutely, that's the one I just sent you the other day.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, by far my favorite. Yes, sir.
So that's kind of us in a nutshell. We've been, I was asked one day when I was laying on my doctor's slab in his office there, he said, Kurt, he says, what would you like to be remembered at and be on your epitaph? I said, I'm still alive. Let me sit up. And, I said, I'm not dead. Are you going to tell me something I shouldn't know about? And he said, no. And he says, but I now have 9 stents in my heart.
Wow.
I have my C-reactive protein went from 5 to down to less than 1. My heart functions like a 35-year-old, and I'm turning 72.
God love you.
It is, and it's been the blessings of this molecular hydrogen and teaming it up with different products, and hopefully we can still see benefits and continue to see benefits. Because I've got a couple grandkids that have learning disabilities. They were twins, and it's helping them, and helping a lot of different people that we're working with. And now it's starting next week with our new plant. We put up a major production facility. One of the world's largest online supplement companies will be producing very large volumes for them. That'll cover the United States, and they do, overseas globally. So and it's the first of 4 or 5 products for them. So,
very cool.
That's what we're all about in a nutshell.
Well, I'll tell you, I thank you for just the interest that you took. It would be one thing, because people call and go, oh, yeah, we'll send you this, we'll send you that, and you never hear from them again. You would call multiple days in a row, just say, how are you feeling? Did it work? Did you get this? Did you get that? All right, I almost envision you recalculating it every time I answered you, and then there'd be a knock at the door the following day, and it was someone, it was the shipper sending something else that you had sent to me. So I truly appreciate the interest that you took, and I'm just blown away by the beet juice, as you know, and this nitric oxide. It was all new to me at the time. I knew of molecular hydrogen, right? And Gordon and the good folks and Stephen at tryh2.com, they were talking about that. But the nitric oxide, it caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared to learn of all those things. And so it made me think that the studying that you've done, the testing that you've done, that we really can have relief in our reach of a lot of our chronic illnesses, especially if they're brought on by oxidative stress, especially, just other things we're up against. Relief really can be in reach with some of the things that are out there now. And H2Bev certainly has, just a myriad of products that could help you. There's no reason to be in pain anymore. There's no reason to be subject to, the onslaught of fate, the onslaught of our environment. I said the other day, Kurt, that we got to watch what we eat. We got to watch what we drink. We got to watch what we breathe. We got to watch what we think, because it all contributes to that oxidative stress. So it was really great in terms of the watermelon, lemon lime, the beet power for sure, the lemon lime H2Bev as well. I could feel the benefits instantly. And I could see why people are so excited, and I can see why your company's growing the way it is. So what would be, for folks listening in our final few moments together, what would be some of the, not so much challenge them, but what are some of the things that they might be up against? You talked about cancer, you talked about asthma. What are some of the other things they might be up against that you'd say to folks, hey, at least give H2Bev a shot. Let us see what we can work on together. What are some of those ailments that that people's interest will peak up and they go, oh, I have that. I have a loved one that has this or that. What are some of the things that they should be, what are some of the things that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, anything cardiovascular, that's so dear to and true to my heart with 9 stents in it, and what this product has done for me on that. Also because of the watermelon and the new one, that one that I just had the stickers on, the H2 Power that we call it. Mm-hmm. We got to come up with a name for it. Maybe we'll call it Brian's Brew or something.
I love it. You're welcome. I spell it with an I. I spell it with an I. Brian's Brew. You're absolutely welcome to use it. It was fantastic. I just loved it. I loved it.
Oh, it is. What we look at is inflammation,
mm-hmm.
Blood disorders and stuff like that. That are their asthma.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at it from depression and everything else, and being able to brighten up your alertness,
mm-hmm.
Generality. But when you really start looking at the situation of folks who have arthritic conditions,
mm-hmm.
And my wife, she'd laugh at me. She says, you and your doggone voodoo juice. What the heck is going on? And she's just a naysayer from the word go.
Sure.
And she was grabbing a doorknob one day, and she pointed his fingers here and really sore. So I gave her the product and stuff like that. And 2 minutes later, she's sitting there saying, geez, my thumb and my forefinger, it don't hurt anymore. What's going on? She says, what is this? And she gets like, what have you done? God, this is great. And it goes, and it just gives me such a tickle
Sure.
to watch people who come in that have hip replacement, knee replacements, soreness, and their joints, and you're sitting there, and they get this look of astonishment on their face. They're like, God, this really does work. I had a meeting the other day where one of the ladies said, I'm trying my best not to believe this. I'm fighting this. And her father was one of the editors of Cecil's Essential of Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we're talking about people that, well-known at Duke University and everything else. She has some affliction and stuff, and it was classic and she has a blood issue. And after about 10 minutes, I said, take a look at your hands. And her hands were just redder than could be. And she kept saying, get out. And I mean, just excitement and stuff. And like I said, and again, goosebumps came back up.
Sure.
Those are the things that you can't put a price on. And when you see that you can, why walk around in pain? Why walk around? Why not try something that doesn't have a whole bunch of side effects to it?
Sure.
Molecular hydrogen. Down here, there was reports back given and published in 1975 by Texas A&M University and Baylor University about molecular hydrogen's health benefits. It was back as far as 1975. So it's not a mystery. All we did was we found a neat way to package it that can keep the hydrogen in and have real levels of hydrogen in the product. And then we said, let's create things. Hydrogen is a friendly old soul, and it likes to team up and create a synergistic effect and transports it through your body. And let's play with some very simple combinations and see what it does. And like I said, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more things that'll come, and some of the alliances that are coming about that we'll be making an announcement about. That just takes us to a whole new level.
And I think, Kurt, as I hear you say that, you talk about hydrogen. People say it's the lightest, most ubiquitous element in the universe. And I don't think it should shock anybody that because it's been around forever, there probably is a huge benefit to a well-functioning, well-oiled human body, right? Like everyone's amazed. Oh, look at this hydrogenated water. Can you believe it? Well, yeah, right? That it's the most ubiquitous element in the universe. Yeah, chances are pretty good, right? The divine, however you define it, Big Bang, Big Breath, Garden of Eden, Savannas of Africa, whatever you want. But the divine designing a human body. Let me see. I think I'll use hydrogen. Now, can you help me for a second? Because I don't get a chance to talk to the experts very often. Is there any truth to the fact that our body does produce some hydrogen itself?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Could you expand on that for a moment?
That would really fall into, somebody like Tyler LeBaron
Okay.
and everything else. Again, it all comes down from, the processing of your foods and what you've been taking in and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, those are areas I just stay off of because, like I said before, we're just trying to come out of the cornfields and see
Sure.
if we know anything.
I got you, brother. But there is something to that, right? That it's good for your body because your body's doing it. Your body wouldn't be doing it. It's not like an appendix. You go, well, that's kind of useless. I don't know what I need that for. If your body works to produce it, then all you're really doing at H2Bev is kind of tag teaming what the body's doing itself and just trying to pump up the volume, so to speak, to make sure that you're taken care of when it's cardiovascular or asthma or a whole list of other ailments. You're just trying to help the body do what it does naturally, I would think.
Right, and I really, you almost want to challenge people to take 5 minutes, take a half an hour. It's your health.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have your health, you don't have anything anyhow. I don't care how much money you got or
Sure.
don't have. Without your health, you don't have anything. It's like family. If you don't have family, you're a pretty lonely individual.
Sure.
And when you sit out there and you get on the internet and look up molecular hydrogen's benefits,
Mm-hmm.
go to the website of the Molecular Hydrogen Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the research that has been done, the real clinical and peer reviews that are out there on these studies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, it's a monstrous industry in Asia. They're so far
Mm-hmm.
advanced than us. It's unbelievable in these areas, and so you don't have to pump yourself full of chemicals.
Sure.
And it's there, and I mean, it's just, and it's like you say, well, what have I got to lose?
Mm-hmm.
I'll drink it and see if it doesn't help me or what have you, and that's why we, worked on the additives with the hydrogen in creating that transport effect of getting in there and getting through the blood-brain barriers in the mitochondria of the cell. And stuff like that is because
Mm-hmm.
it is so fast reacting. It's going through the lining of your stomach and stuff. And so the reaction is, I mean, you're there. You see it. You feel it. And I could go on and on about a lot of anecdotal stories about people using it and just daubing it on a cotton ball and
Sure.
having an effect on their face and their skin and everything else. I can tell you right now, the women drinking the product and stuff are seeing new hair growth. I'm going to sue myself because it isn't working with the men. And I can assure you that when the raindrops come down, I sure feel them on the back of my
Yeah, same here.
They're a lot colder. So,
Same here.
it doesn't work, but it does. It
Okay.
is amazing. I mean, the energy levels, and it's not one of these things that, you got this boost and it's subtle, it's nice, it's simple. There's no crash to it.
Sure.
But it is noticeable. And you just don't want to be a couch potato. You get out there and you want to do things.
Sure. Well, we'll go ahead.
Grandkids and all the sports things I got to go to. I got to be drinking this stuff too.
Right.
With these kids.
You got to stay in the game for sure. Well, Kurt, thank you. I promised I wouldn't hold you longer than we have. So, thank you again for taking an interest in my recovery. We put the logo up here in the feed, H2Bev. Of course, you can go over to tryh2.com and all of Kurt's H2Bev products are listed over there, and it's made just a huge impact in my recovery, but as has your attitude, Kurt. So I really wanted to thank you because, you meet a lot of CEOs of companies that go, hey, this is it. But it's clearly a passion of yours. It's clearly something that you're fired up about and you want to help. And believe me, that came across in all my interactions with you. So I super appreciate the personal interest in me, but also your passion for wanting to help folks. And, if you left it at cardiovascular issues and you left it at asthma, that would be a huge thing, but that's just scratching the surface. So thank you for your time today. And final thoughts, anything else you want our listeners to know?
Well, basically, realistically, you just look at it, make sure you're getting what the product that somebody can stand behind it. There's you see a lot of things that claim to do this, claim the fame, but really don't have the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason to be walking around having issues and stuff like that. There are solutions out there, simple solutions like H2Bev. Your health is the most important thing, and why go through life being miserable? There's a lot of benefits out there, and there's a lot of answers. And again, we don't have the sole piece to the puzzle, but we got a nice big piece of the puzzle. And so for better health and better living and enjoyment. And it's all about enjoying life.
And then, I forgot one other thing I wanted to ask you. Can you tell me a little bit about CBD? I remember when Gordon first told me about you, just to keep, especially after the brain surgeries and a little bit of the fog that I go through, I kept in my mind, I was thinking Kurt's cannabis in a can. Right? That's how I would remember. So, because, you have people go, oh, well, I know what that is. That's marijuana. That's that. Nothing could be farther from the truth. In a minute or so, can you give us an idea of what you have in terms of H2Bev and what you know about the hemp?
Well, we're infusing hydrogen into CBD, which is 100% removal free of THC. THC is the hallucinatory side of the marijuana plant. So you're not going to get any hallucinatory type effects from this. And it's well documented again, the benefits that are there from CBD, or call it hemp oil, for inflammation, relaxing, brain function awareness, what have you. And again, it does the same thing. The beauty of the hydrogen is it just loves anything it comes in contact with, and then delivers it at a high rate, at a higher rate and effectiveness into your system. And so we've worked with that, and really, we have found a lot of people that are athletes that have been working out and they're running and jogging and stuff, and their muscles got a little bit of ache or something like that to them, but we found it help get to sleep easier and relax them more and stuff like that. So it's a very simple
cool
product, but it is not anything out there per se that's going to give you a high of any type or anything like that.
Very cool. Well, then, Kurt, as I've been saying to all of our guests this morning, I wanted to get you a little something for coming on and sharing your expertise and everything you're doing. And I'm calling it the True Fruit Thank You. A friend of mine owns a company called True Fruit. And what he did was he figured out a way, freeze-dried real fruit, no additives, right? Freeze-dried real fruit, and then dipped it in antioxidant-rich dark chocolate, and he calls it True Fruit. So I'm doing the True Fruit Thank You. So over at truefruit.com, if you have a flavor that you dig or that your wife likes, there's cherry. I've eaten the cherry already, so I'd show you what the bags look like. I've already cut through the cherry, but there's raspberries, there's bananas, all these other things. So get the order from the fam there, find out what their favorite flavors are, let me know, and I owe you guys for watching out for me. So I'll go ahead and make sure that there's some True Fruit on the way to you. But thank you so very much for caring about me. Thank you for your expertise and your time today. And we'll send people over to the website, and also h2bev.com, and also tryh2.com. And you can learn all about everything that Kurt and the good team there are doing to really help us keep or make or put our relief in reach. As Kurt said, there's no reason to be suffering anymore. If you don't have a vibrant life, what do you have? Kurt, final thoughts?
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad it's working for you, and I appreciate your feedback each time we go on, and we're here to help. So let's stay in touch.
I will, for sure.
We'll keep striving to make things better if we can.
Sounds good. Kurt, thank you so very much. Thank everybody at home for me as well. I really appreciate it. All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye now.
All right, so we're going to get ready to run here before too long to the top of the hour. Next hour, I'm really fired up as well. Because we've been learning some great stuff here. Remember, here's our placard. Customer satisfaction, our number one goal, right? I feel like one of those Vegas, I don't have the body for it, but one of those Vegas card girls that run around and tell you what, what round they're in. But number one goal. So I'm hoping that we're providing information that people go, oh, that was really cool. I really like that. And next hour, Stephen from ProPure USA. I cannot wait to tell you about this water. So that's what we're going to be looking at the next hour. We're going to go ahead, as you know, we're ending the Facebook feed at the top of every hour. You'll be able to listen at ipmnation.com/ANB now as we kick off the fourth hour. So we're going to go ahead and do just that. And then we'll be back. And this next one is something you're going to be really fired up about as well. All right, we're going to get out of here for just a minute. Thank you so very much for being a part of the 24-hour marathon. It really is an honor to have you. It's an honor to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're listening and you're out and about on the go. Thank you so very much for making us a part of your weekend. We will be right back.
There, this is Lee Rowley from Sales Copy Academy, and you're listening to the live 24-hour all-natural being marathon with my good friend Brian Brawdy. Keep your mitts off that browser tab because Brian will be right back after this short break with another solid hour of all-natural shenanigans on all-natural being. Stay tuned.
I got to tell you, I love that. Keep your mitts off that browser. Boy, he knows how to write. All right, we will be right back. In the interim, in this 4 minutes, go be you.
IPMNation.com.